They once defined perfection on every red carpet, the kinds of stars whose faces seemed carved for eternity. But time does not negotiate, and for many of these icons, the mirror has become a ruthless storyteller. Some changed because of relentless stress, others because of life-altering health battles, while a few chased eternal youth until the procedures left them nearly unrecognizable. Whose transformation stunned fans the most? Which former screen goddess reappeared with a look that sent social media into chaos? And who became so different that people questioned whether the latest pictures were even real? Stay with this list until the final reveal. The last name will leave you speechless. 15. Val Kilmer. There was a time when Val Kilmer's face carried the kind of effortless charisma that made casting directors fight for him. His rise from stage work to blockbuster fame felt almost mythic, built on a blend of confidence, sculpted features, and a screen presence that made audiences believe he could step into any role without breaking a sweat. In those golden years, he became a symbol of both danger and beauty, someone who could shift from quiet intensity to explosive emotion in a heartbeat. But life has a way of reshaping even the brightest legends, and Kilmer's appearance gradually changed in ways that stunned longtime admirers. The transformation did not come from vanity or reckless choices. Instead, it emerged from a long and difficult struggle with health challenges that demanded strength far beyond anything he showed in his on-screen battles. Treatments altered not only his voice but also his features, giving him a softer, more fragile look that contrasted sharply with the chiseled hero many remembered. For fans who grew up with his early films, the shift felt jarring, almost surreal, as if they were watching a completely different person inhabit the body of someone they once knew. Yet the story is far deeper than a visual change. Kilmer's journey exposed the quiet, painful reality that fame can so easily hide. Behind the cameras, he endured procedures that reshaped his jawline, swelling that distorted his once sharp profile, and a recovery marked by uncertainty. When he reappeared publicly, some viewers reacted with shock, while others praised his resilience, reminding the world that survival marks a face in ways no cosmetic treatment can erase. Rather than retreat, Kilmer embraced a new kind of visibility. He began speaking more openly about his challenges, allowing vulnerability to replace the polished image of his earlier years. In doing so, he transformed from a symbol of physical perfection into a symbol of endurance. The shift in his appearance may have surprised people, but the strength behind it earned him a different kind of admiration. Today, Kilmer stands as a reminder that aging is not always gentle, and survival often reshapes us more dramatically than time itself. His journey proves that even as features change, legacy and talent remain untouched by the passing years. 14. Mickey Rourke. There was an era when Mickey Rourke embodied a kind of dangerous beauty that felt almost untouchable. Casting directors saw in him a raw magnetism that blended vulnerability with rebellion, the sort of presence that made audiences stop breathing for a moment whenever he entered a scene. His early years in Hollywood painted him as a star destined for a lifelong reign, a face sculpted for close-ups, a voice loaded with quiet fury, and an energy that promised unforgettable performances. But fame rarely unfolds gently, and Rourke's journey would eventually become one of the most dramatic physical transformations the industry had ever witnessed. Rourke's appearance did not shift because of simple aging. His evolution came from a turbulent life, marked by emotional storms, personal battles, and a return to professional boxing that punished his features far more brutally than any film role ever could. Each fight left subtle fractures, swelling, and long-term damage that changed the structure of his once striking face. Attempting to repair the injuries, Rourke turned to surgeons whose work, over time, altered him even further. The procedures softened some areas, tightened others, and created a look that fans struggled to reconcile with the heartthrob they remembered. When he re-emerged on red carpets, whispers followed him everywhere. Some people expressed disbelief, others pity, and some tried to defend him by pointing out the emotional weight that drove many of his choices. Yet Rourke did not hide. He stepped into the spotlight again and again, wearing his transformation with a strange mixture of pride and exhaustion, as if daring the world to look past the surface and remember the artist he had always been. Behind the scenes, the pressures were immense. Hollywood's obsession with beauty did not spare him, and the contrast between his early image and his present appearance became a constant topic in tabloids. Still, Rourke remained defiant. He continued working, delivering performances that reminded audiences he was far more than a collection of altered features. His vulnerability, once hidden beneath youthful charm, now surfaced openly in his roles, adding layers of authenticity that younger actors could only dream of achieving. Today, Rourke stands as a symbol of how life's blows, emotional, physical, and professional, can reshape a person beyond recognition. His face tells a story of survival, mistakes, reinvention, and resilience. It may shock some viewers, but it carries a depth that outshines any flawless image Hollywood once demanded of him. 13. Brendan Fraser. There was a moment in Hollywood when Brendan Fraser represented the perfect blend of innocence, humor, and heroic charm. His early roles painted him as the adventurous heartthrob audiences adored, someone whose expressive face could shift from wide-eyed wonder to emotional depth in a single breath. He carried a buoyant energy that made his characters feel larger than life, yet deeply human. But behind the glow of success, Fraser's reality would soon turn into one of the most dramatic physical declines the modern industry had ever quietly witnessed. The change in his appearance was not the result of reckless choices or vanity gone wrong. It was born from the heavy demands placed on his body during his action-packed years. Stunts that thrilled moviegoers slowly carved permanent marks into his physical health. Repeated injuries, countless surgeries, and chronic pain accumulated until his posture shifted, his movement stiffened, and his once vibrant expression turned more subdued. He carried the weight of these struggles in silence, even as his face began to show the toll of constant discomfort. Beyond the physical strain, emotional battles shaped him just as profoundly. Fraser later revealed experiences that left him deeply shaken, leading to years of withdrawal from the spotlight. Stress, trauma, and isolation settled into his features, replacing the youthful glow that had once defined him. His cheeks softened, his jawline blurred, and his eyes took on a heaviness that could not be concealed by makeup or lighting. Each public appearance sparked online conversations questioning what had happened to him, as if people were trying to reconcile memories of the fearless adventurer with the changed man before them. Yet his transformation was not merely a decline. In stepping away from Hollywood's harsh expectations, Fraser found a quieter form of strength. He focused on healing, on rebuilding his life piece by piece. And though his appearance aged more dramatically than many expected, his return to the screen revealed something deeper, a raw, emotional power forged through adversity. His performances offered a maturity and honesty that could only come from someone who had endured genuine hardship. Today, Fraser stands as a reminder that aging can be uneven, unkind, and deeply influenced by the battles we fight behind closed doors. His altered appearance tells a story not of failure, but of survival, resilience, and the courage to reclaim a career on his own terms. His journey shows that even when Hollywood forgets, talent has a way of rising again. 12. Goldie Hawn. There was a time when Goldie Hawn embodied a kind of radiant charm that felt effortlessly timeless. Her bright smile, sparkling eyes, and bubbly energy made her one of Hollywood's most beloved comedic stars. Audiences associated her with sunshine, a woman whose face alone could lift the mood of an entire scene. For decades, she held onto that glow with remarkable grace, creating the impression that age barely touched her. But the passage of time eventually carved its truth across her features in ways that caught many longtime fans by surprise. Hawn's transformation did not come from neglect or carelessness. It arose from the natural aging process, amplified by the immense pressures placed on women in the entertainment industry. Hollywood's relentless expectation that actresses remain forever youthful pushed her toward procedures meant to preserve that signature brightness. Some enhancements softened her wrinkles, while others unintentionally altered the contours of her face, creating a look that drifted away from the delicate balance viewers remembered. The combination of age, gravity, and cosmetic work produced an appearance that sparked countless conversations among fans who had grown up admiring her earlier beauty. Yet beyond the physical shift was a deeper emotional landscape. Hawn has always worn her heart openly, and as the years passed, that openness became etched into her features. Laughter lines deepened from decades of smiling, yet so did the subtle signs of exhaustion from maintaining a long career under constant scrutiny. Public outings revealed a face that told a complex story, one that blended resilience, joy, and the unavoidable softness that comes with time. Some observers reacted with shock, while others defended her, arguing that aging is not a failure, but a privilege denied to many. What makes Hawn's transformation particularly striking is how drastically her appearance can change depending on lighting, makeup, or candid angles. At times, she appears to carry echoes of her golden era, while at other moments, she looks markedly different, almost as if the weight of the years settled all at once. These fluctuations fueled endless speculation about what had changed and when, transforming her into a recurring subject of then and now comparisons across social media. Despite the conversation surrounding her looks, Hawn continues to maintain a sense of warmth and optimism that has defined her entire life. She remains active, vocal, and deeply connected to her family, choosing authenticity over the impossible pursuit of eternal youth. Her aging may appear dramatic to some, but it represents a journey filled with love, laughter, and lived experience, elements far more meaningful than any wrinkle or reshaped feature. 11. Russell Crowe. There was a period when Russell Crowe commanded the screen with an intensity so powerful that audiences felt swept into whatever world he inhabited. His broad shoulders, sharp jawline, and thunderous presence made him the embodiment of rugged masculinity. Directors relied on his ability to blend brute strength with emotional depth, and fans admired the raw authenticity he brought to every role. During those early years, Crowe became a symbol of dominance and discipline, the kind of star whose physical form seemed as unshakable as his talent. But life, stress, and time eventually sculpted him into someone almost unrecognizable from the figure who once defined heroism in modern cinema. Crowe's transformation did not happen overnight. It unfolded slowly, shaped by personal choices, emotional struggles, and the natural weight of an aging body that had been pushed through demanding roles for decades. The intensity he brought to his characters often required extreme physical preparation, gaining muscle, then shedding it, then gaining weight again for dramatic effect. These fluctuations left lasting marks on his frame and facial features. As years passed, the constant shifts took their toll, softening his jawline, thickening his profile, and reshaping the athletic silhouette that once seemed invincible. Away from the screen, Crowe's lifestyle added further complexity. Stress from public scrutiny, personal upheavals, and the pressure of maintaining a respected career created a heaviness visible in his expressions. Social media later amplified every candid moment, capturing him in harsh lighting or unguarded angles that highlighted puffiness, graying hair, and the broader face that replaced his once sculpted look. Each new appearance sparked discussions, comparisons, and speculation, as if people were trying to reconcile their memory of the warrior-like figure with the softer, more ordinary man now appearing at premieres and events. Yet his journey is far more nuanced than the surface suggests. Crowe never hid from aging and never pursued extreme measures to preserve the face that made him famous. Instead, he embraced a more grounded life, one where comfort and personal peace outweighed Hollywood's obsession with perpetual youth. His artistic passion shifted toward music, directing, and quieter pursuits, revealing a person unconcerned with labels or expectations. That confidence, though different from his early intensity, speaks to a deeper evolution, one shaped by maturity rather than appearances. Today, Crowe stands as a reminder that even the strongest figures are not immune to time's relentless hand. His shift from iconic leading man to weathered seasoned artist may surprise some, but it reflects a life fully lived, complete with triumphs, pressures, reinventions, and the courage to let the world witness every stage. 10. Meg Ryan. There was an era when Meg Ryan represented the purest form of romantic comedy magic. Her bright eyes, soft features, and effortless charm made her the face of innocence and warmth in a world obsessed with glamour. Audiences felt instantly connected to her, as if she carried a gentle spark that softened every frame she appeared in. Her expressions could shift from shy delight to heartfelt vulnerability in a heartbeat, creating an entire generation of viewers who adored her for both her beauty and her spirit. But the passage of time and the pressures placed on actresses who symbolize youthful perfection eventually led to one of the most discussed transformations in modern Hollywood. Ryan's shift in appearance was not a simple result of aging. It emerged from years of navigating an industry that often punishes women for even the smallest wrinkle. The pressure to maintain the face that had become synonymous with romance pushed her toward cosmetic procedures that subtly, then dramatically, altered her features. The changes softened her natural contours, reshaped her lips, and created a look that fans struggled to recognize. With each new public appearance, debates intensified, as if people could not reconcile the memory of her golden-era glow with the more sculpted, unfamiliar version before them. Behind the scenes, emotional battles only deepened the transformation. The end of public relationships, harsh tabloid coverage, and the constant scrutiny of her choices added weight to her expressions. Stress settled into her face, reshaping her eyes, tightening some areas while leaving others more pronounced. Photographers captured her in candid moments where lighting magnified every alteration, turning her into a trending topic each time she stepped onto a red carpet. Yet Ryan's story is far more human than the narratives built around her appearance. She stepped away from the spotlight, not out of defeat, but out of a desire for peace, privacy, and creative control. In choosing her own path, she revealed a quiet strength that had always existed beneath the soft, romantic exterior. Her aging, though dramatic to some, reflects a woman who lived intensely through fame, heartbreak, reinvention, and the painful expectations placed on female stars. Today, Ryan remains a figure of fascination, not because she aged poorly, but because her journey exposes the harsh realities of an industry terrified of time. Her changing face tells a story of pressure, survival, self-discovery, and the complicated balance between public image and personal truth. 9. Johnny Depp. There was a period when Johnny Depp seemed almost untouchable, a figure whose unconventional beauty and rebellious charm defied every Hollywood standard. His sharp angles, brooding eyes, and effortless cool turned him into an icon of mystery, someone who looked more like a wandering poet than a studio-manufactured star. Fans saw him as eternally youthful, protected by that trademark swagger and artistic spirit. But beneath the carefully layered scarves, the eyeliner, and the cinematic mystique, time and turmoil were slowly reshaping him into someone far removed from the enigmatic heartthrob audiences once adored. Depp's transformation was not the result of simple aging. It unfolded through a series of emotional upheavals, exhausting legal battles, and a lifestyle that pushed his body far harder than his films ever revealed. Years of insomnia, stress, cigarettes, touring with bands, and late-night creative sessions left a visible imprint on his face. His features gradually softened, his jawline lost its definition, and the tiredness in his eyes deepened into something almost haunting. Each candid photo captured by paparazzi seemed to highlight a new layer of weariness, a stark contrast to the magnetic bohemian hero fans remembered. Public scrutiny intensified everything. Every fluctuation in his weight, every wrinkle, and every uneven patch of facial hair became headline material. Harsh lighting at airports or backstage events exposed sunken cheeks one day and puffiness the next, feeding online speculation about his health and state of mind. At times, People questioned whether the man in the photographs was even the same figure who once dominated posters, runways, and magazine spreads. The shifting texture of his skin, the graying hair, and the deep lines etched across his forehead painted a portrait of someone who had lived through storms few could imagine. Yet beneath the physical change was a deeper story of resilience. Depp never hid behind filters, never retreated into isolation, and never pretended to be untouched by hardship. Instead, he leaned into his artistic pursuits, music, painting, independent films, revealing a spirit still burning, even if the exterior no longer matched the myth. That openness gave his transformation a strangely dignified quality. Aging, in his case, became evidence of a life lived wildly, passionately, and without apology. Today, Depp stands as a reminder that fame can intensify the aging process, magnifying every line carved by struggle, love, conflict, and reinvention. His appearance may shock some viewers, but it also reflects a man who survived personal hurricanes and kept moving forward. His face tells a story of art, exhaustion, and endurance, a map of a life far more complex than any role he ever played. 8. Axl Rose. There was a time when Axl Rose radiated a kind of wild, untamed magnetism that seemed to freeze him in a state of perpetual youth. His sharp cheekbones, piercing stare, and rebellious confidence made him the face of a rock revolution. Fans saw him not only as a powerhouse vocalist, but as an icon whose looks captured the chaotic beauty of an era. On stage he moved with electric energy, hair flowing, skin glowing with the careless perfection of a young star who believed time would never touch him. But the journey from that golden period to the present created one of the most startling visual transformations in modern music history. Rose's shift did not arrive gently. It unfolded through years marked by intense pressure, physical strain, emotional turbulence, and a lifestyle that pushed the boundaries of endurance. Long nights, relentless touring, and the heavy demands of fame gradually carved lines across his face. Weight fluctuations altered his silhouette, softening once defined features. His skin lost its youthful elasticity, and the sharp edges that once framed his jaw faded into a rounder, puffier look that shocked fans during later public appearances. Each new image circulated online became a topic of debate, as if people were trying to reconcile the legendary frontman with the changed figure on stage. The evolution became even more dramatic as Rose embraced different styles. His once signature long hair gave way to various looks that sometimes highlighted the aging process rather than masking it. Makeup choices, lighting angles, and stage outfits occasionally amplified the contrast between his younger self and his present appearance. Tabloids seized on every candid moment, capturing unflattering snapshots that spread rapidly, feeding a narrative that he had become almost unrecognizable from the star who once dominated arenas. Yet behind the surface change was a more complex, often misunderstood journey. Rose faced emotional battles, vocal strain, physical injuries, and long periods of retreat from the public eye. These struggles left marks deeper than wrinkles. They reshaped his posture, his expressions, and the aura he carried. But rather than bow to ridicule, he continued to perform, leaning into his legacy with a stubborn determination that surprised critics. His voice, though altered, still carried the fire that made him a legend, and his stage presence revealed a resilience forged through decades of survival. Today, Rose stands as a testament to the reality that aging in the spotlight is unforgiving. His transformation may be dramatic, but it tells a story of endurance, passion, reinvention, and the complex toll of a life lived at full volume. 7. Valeria Golino. There was a period when Valeria Golino captivated international audiences with an effortless blend of elegance and mystery. Her delicate features, expressive eyes, and soft Mediterranean glow made her stand out in every frame she occupied. Whether she played a fragile romantic lead or a sharp-witted heroine, she carried an otherworldly beauty that seemed immune to the passage of time. Directors adored her for the way she could shift from vulnerability to strength with a single glance, and fans admired the quiet sophistication she brought to each role. But as the years progressed, Golino's transformation became one of the more quietly dramatic evolutions among globally recognized actresses. Her changing appearance did not stem from scandalous choices or extreme intervention. Instead, it unfolded slowly, shaped by a combination of natural aging, life stresses, and the emotional weight carried by someone who spent decades navigating the unforgiving world of cinema. The once bright and luminous glow gradually softened, revealing deeper lines, a thinner facial structure, and hollowed contours that surprised many who remembered her youthful radiance. Her eyes, once the centerpiece of her allure, appeared more tired over time, framed by shadows and textures that hinted at long nights, demanding roles, and personal battles fought away from the public gaze. What fueled the conversation was the unpredictability of her public appearances. In some photographs, she carried traces of her earlier beauty, while in others, the aging seemed far more severe, as though an entire decade had settled on her face overnight. Lighting, candid angles, and minimal makeup often highlighted these shifts, turning her into a frequent subject of comparison posts and then and now compilations circulating across social media. Fans who adored her during her breakout years expressed surprise, confusion, or concern, trying to understand what had changed so dramatically. Yet beneath the commentary lies a story of authenticity. Golino never shaped her identity around eternal youth. She embraced a life of artistic depth rather than cosmetic perfection, prioritizing roles that challenged her emotionally rather than preserving an image that no longer felt true. Her aging reflects a woman who lived intensely, who poured herself into her craft, and who accepted the natural consequences of a career spent under constant scrutiny. She stepped into maturity with a quiet defiance, refusing to hide or retreat simply because the industry preferred unwrinkled faces. Today, Golino's transformation stands as a reminder that beauty evolves, sometimes gently, sometimes sharply, but always honestly. Her appearance may shock those who hold on to memories of her early films, yet the story behind it reveals resilience, devotion to art, and the courage to let life shape her without apology. 6. Kathleen Turner. There was an era when Kathleen Turner dominated the screen with a voice so intoxicating and a presence so commanding that audiences felt instantly drawn to her. Her beauty carried a sultry, almost volcanic power, the kind that did not beg for attention, but seized it effortlessly. She was bold, magnetic, and unmistakable, a star whose striking features and fierce confidence made her one of the most unforgettable actresses of her generation. But as the years passed, Turner underwent one of Hollywood's most dramatic and publicly dissected transformations, reshaping not only her appearance, but also the way the industry viewed her. Turner's shift was not the gentle aging many expected. It was accelerated by a series of physical battles that left deep marks on her face, her posture, and her overall stamina. Painful bouts of chronic inflammation reshaped her figure, adding swelling, stiffness, and visible discomfort that photographers often captured in unflattering moments. The once angular lines of her jaw softened into rounder contours. The sharp spark in her eyes dulled under the weight of exhaustion. Even her signature voice changed, gaining a deeper, heavier tone that reflected the strain she carried. Each red carpet appearance became fuel for commentators, who often spoke more about her altered look than her remarkable talent. Beyond the physical challenges, Turner faced emotional pressure that compounded the transformation. Hollywood, with its relentless obsession with youth, treated her aging as a betrayal of the image she once represented. Producers grew hesitant, tabloids circled hungrily, and the online world transformed her into an easy target. But Turner never allowed herself to be reduced to the aging process. Instead, she acknowledged her struggles openly, revealing the medical realities that shaped her new appearance and challenging the industry's narrow definition of beauty. Despite the gossip, she refused to hide. Turner embraced theater, voice work, and character-driven roles that allowed her to showcase the depth that had always defined her artistry. Her performances gained new emotional weight, shaped by a lifetime of triumphs and hardships. She appeared on stages and talk shows with honesty, humor, and a fierce refusal to apologize for the passage of time. In doing so, she shifted the conversation from shock to respect, reminding audiences that aging is not a flaw, it is evidence of survival. Today, Turner's transformation may still surprise those who remember her at the height of her cinematic reign, but her journey stands as a powerful reminder that even the most striking stars cannot escape life's complexities. Her changed appearance tells a story of resilience, pain, courage, and the refusal to let the world dictate her worth. 5. Carrot Top. There was a moment in pop culture when Carrot Top's look felt almost cartoonishly perfect for the comedic world he inhabited. His wild hair, sharp jawline, and energetic stage presence created an image that audiences recognized instantly. He was vibrant, eccentric, and visually striking, a performer who stood out not only for his humor, but for a natural charisma that made each appearance unforgettable. But over time, his transformation evolved into one of the most debated and dramatic reinventions among modern entertainers, leaving many longtime fans astonished by how drastically his appearance changed. The shift began subtly, with weight fluctuations and a more sculpted physique that raised eyebrows. Years of intense bodybuilding reshaped his body, pulling the focus away from the soft comedic charm he once embodied and toward a more exaggerated, muscular look. This dramatic change altered the balance of his facial features as well. His skin tightened in unusual ways, his cheeks took on a swollen appearance, and the angles of his face seemed to shift entirely. Public speculation intensified, with many assuming he had undergone cosmetic procedures that left his once playful look almost unrecognizable. Every new public appearance fueled discussion. Under stage lighting, his skin often appeared overly smooth, creating a contrast with the natural texture fans remembered. His eyes looked narrower, framed by skin that seemed stretched, while his lips and jawline appeared changed in ways that sparked endless debates online. Social media users compared his current photos to his early career, highlighting the stark differences and questioning what had caused such an extreme visual evolution. Some found the transformation shocking, others expressed concern, wondering whether he had tried too hard to escape the aging process. Yet the reality behind Carrot Top's transformation is more layered than the memes and side-by-side images suggest. His career demanded constant reinvention, and the pressures of being a long-standing Las Vegas performer added to the weight he carried. The need to maintain a high-energy persona, combined with the desire to preserve a youthful glow under harsh stage lights, pushed him toward choices that altered his appearance significantly. But through it all, his comedic identity remained intact. He continued delivering performances filled with the same chaotic humor and eccentric flair that defined his rise. Today, Carrot Top's face tells a story of intensity, reinvention, and the complicated relationship entertainers often have with aging. His transformation may shock some viewers, but it also reflects a man who never stopped evolving, even when the results sparked controversy. His journey reveals the tension between self-expression, public expectation, and the relentless passage of time, a tale as complex as any in the spotlight. 4. Mickey Rooney. There was a time when Mickey Rooney stood at the very center of American entertainment, a performer whose youthful spark, expressive face, and boundless energy made him one of the most beloved stars of his era. His charm felt limitless, his smile infectious, and his boyish looks seemed almost immune to age during the height of his fame. Audiences watched him grow from a lively teen sensation into a leading man whose comedic instincts and emotional depth shaped some of the most memorable roles of his generation. But as the decades passed, Rooney's transformation became one of the most dramatic and widely discussed in Hollywood history, revealing a shift far harsher than gentle aging. Rooney's changing appearance unfolded in layers. The vibrant glow he carried in his early years gradually faded as personal battles, professional stress, and a turbulent off-screen life began leaving unmistakable marks on his face. His features grew heavier, his once sharp expressions softened, and the boyish roundness that had defined him turned into something more weathered and weary. With each public appearance, the contrast between the youthful star of yesterday and the aging man of later years became more striking, capturing the attention of fans who struggled to reconcile the two images. His struggles extended far beyond the surface. A life filled with intense work schedules, financial failures, health setbacks, and emotional turmoil shaped his physical decline. Years of stress etched deep lines across his face, while medical complications added swelling, fatigue, and noticeable changes to his posture. His eyes, once bright with mischief, appeared heavier and more distant as the burdens he carried grew heavier. Tabloids often magnified these changes, publishing unflattering photos that highlighted the harshness of his transformation and turning his aging into a topic of public fascination. Despite the relentless scrutiny, Rooney refused to disappear. He continued acting, performing, and appearing in interviews long after many of his contemporaries stepped away. He embraced character roles that required vulnerability rather than glamour, showcasing a depth of talent that no wrinkle could erase. His voice grew raspier, his movements slower, but his passion for storytelling remained fiercely intact. In this resilience, he revealed a profound truth. Aging may steal youth, but it cannot erase legacy. Today, Rooney's transformation stands as a reminder of the brutal honesty of time. His later appearance may shock those who remember the bright star of his early years, yet it tells a powerful story, one shaped by triumph, hardship, reinvention, and the unstoppable march of age. His journey embodies the reality that even the most iconic faces are not preserved in amber. They evolve, they change, they weather, and through all of it, they remain a testament to the life they lived. 3. Carrie Fisher. There was a moment in cinematic history when Carrie Fisher became an eternal symbol of youthful rebellion and celestial beauty. Her face, framed by determination and wit, carried a brightness that made her instantly iconic. Audiences adored her, not only for her sharp humor and intelligence, but for the magnetic blend of vulnerability and strength she brought to every role. She felt timeless, untouchable, almost frozen in the glow of her early fame. But as the years passed, Fisher's transformation became one of the most emotionally complex and publicly scrutinized evolutions in modern Hollywood. Her changing appearance did not come from the natural flow of age alone. It was shaped by years of emotional turbulence, health struggles, and the heavy weight of scrutiny that followed her from youth into maturity. The pressures of fame arrived early, placing Fisher under a microscope before she had even discovered who she wanted to be. As she moved through adulthood, personal battles with exhaustion, trauma, and long-term treatment left visible imprints across her features. Her once smooth contours grew fuller, her expressions carried a deeper heaviness, and the spark in her eyes often shifted between fierce resilience and quiet fatigue. Public reaction only amplified the transformation. Each time Fisher appeared at conventions, interviews, or promotional events, candid photos circulated widely, highlighting puffiness, swelling, and the shifting structure of her face. Online commentary became relentless, fueled by unfair comparisons to the radiant young woman she had been decades earlier. But what few understood was the depth of the medical challenges she endured, conditions that altered her metabolism, changed her weight, and reshaped her expressions in ways she could not control. These realities became intertwined with her public identity, creating a narrative far more painful than any wrinkle or softened feature. Yet Fisher confronted this scrutiny with unmatched wit and defiance. She spoke openly about her struggles, refusing to apologize for the marks left by years of survival. Her humor became a shield, her honesty a weapon against a culture obsessed with youth. Through this openness, she built a deeper connection with fans who admired her courage as much as her earlier beauty. She embraced her evolution not as a decline, but as evidence of a life lived fully through chaos, triumph, heartbreak, and creative brilliance. Today, Fisher's transformation stands as a testament to the brutal intersection of fame, illness, and the human spirit. Her altered appearance tells a story far richer than any flawless photograph, a story of endurance, vulnerability, and the fierce determination to remain herself in a world that demanded perfection. 2. Brigitte Bardot. There was a time when Brigitte Bardot embodied a level of beauty so overwhelming that it reshaped fashion, film, and the very idea of sensuality across the world. Her face, with its effortless pout and windswept allure, carried a kind of natural radiance that felt untouchable. She became a cultural force, a symbol of youthful rebellion wrapped in sunlit elegance, someone whose presence alone could shift trends and ignite global fascination. But as the years unfolded, Bardot's appearance transformed in ways that shocked many who still held onto the image of the golden-haired siren who defined an entire era. Her aging process was intensified by choices that set her apart from nearly every actress of her generation. Bardot turned her back on Hollywood's obsession with beauty, rejecting cosmetic enhancements entirely. Instead, she embraced a life away from studios, dedicating herself to activism and retreating into a quieter, more private existence. Without the heavy makeup, careful lighting, or the shield of celebrity stylists, time carved its mark across her features, with an honesty rarely seen in the world of film. Lines deepened, skin texture roughened, and her once delicate silhouette grew more rigid and angular. The contrast between her youthful image and her later appearance became so stark that casual viewers often struggled to believe the two faces belonged to the same person. Her transformation was further shaped by passionate activism, long periods of isolation, and emotional burdens that left visible imprints. The stress of public controversy, relentless media scrutiny, and the weight of her outspoken nature settled into her expressions. Photographs captured her with hair left natural, makeup abandoned, and features marked by a stark, unfiltered reality. These images circulated widely, often paired with earlier photos that amplified the dramatic difference, creating a global conversation about the nature of beauty, aging, and fame. Yet beneath every headline was a woman who refused to bend to expectation. Bardot embraced her transformation with a fierce independence that mirrored her younger spirit. She expressed no desire to maintain the glamorous facade that once defined her, choosing authenticity over preservation. Her later life appearance, though surprising to many, reflects a life lived with passion, conviction, and an unwavering commitment to her beliefs. She did not chase eternal youth, because the cause she dedicated herself to protecting the voiceless demanded far more from her than aesthetics ever could. Today, Bardot's transformation stands as one of the most dramatic contrasts in entertainment history. Her changed appearance may startle those who remember her in her cinematic prime, but it tells a powerful story of defiance, purpose, and a refusal to let the world dictate her worth. 1. Linda Hamilton. There was a time when Linda Hamilton embodied a kind of raw, unbreakable power that redefined what a leading woman could look like in action cinema. Her face carried both grit and grace, framed by fierce determination and a warrior's resolve. Audiences saw her as the unstoppable force who transformed from a vulnerable dreamer into a battle-hardened icon. Her features were sharp, expressive, unforgettable, the kind of presence that etched itself into film history. But as the years passed, Hamilton's appearance shifted in ways that startled many who still held onto the memory of her at the height of her cinematic reign. Her transformation began quietly, shaped not by vanity, but by the heavy emotional and physical toll of a life lived intensely. Hamilton battled long-term mental health struggles, personal heartbreak, and a demanding career that pushed her body far harder than most people realized. Years of stress carved lines across her skin, giving her expressions a depth weighted with lived experience. Her face grew more angular, her features more pronounced, almost sculpted by exhaustion. When she re-emerged after long periods away from the spotlight, many were shocked by how dramatically time had altered the once youthful contours of her face. The public reaction became even harsher as high-definition cameras and unforgiving lighting captured her at events, interviews, and promotional tours. Images circulated showing a thinner, more weathered version of the star fans remembered. Her skin appeared rougher, her cheeks more hollow, and her expressions marked by a kind of hardened intensity that replaced the softness she carried in her earlier years. These candid glimpses spread rapidly online, with comparisons that magnified every change and turned her aging into a global talking point. Yet Hamilton never apologized for the passage of time. Instead, she embraced her evolution with an honesty that few stars dared to show. She spoke openly about her struggles, her healing, and the freedom she felt in no longer trying to fit Hollywood's mold. Rather than chase surgical perfection or attempt to recreate the past, she presented herself exactly as she was: a survivor, an artist, and a woman who had lived through challenges that reshaped her both physically and emotionally. Her return to major roles later in life revealed a performer still capable of commanding the screen, not through youthful glamour, but through sheer presence. Hamilton's transformation may appear shocking to those who remember her early years, but it reflects a life carved by resilience, pain, triumph, and the refusal to hide from reality. Today, her appearance stands as a testament to authenticity in an industry terrified of aging, proof that strength, courage, and legacy outlast beauty in every form. Aging spares no one, not even the brightest stars who once seemed frozen in cinematic perfection. Behind every transformed face is a story shaped by triumphs, heartbreaks, pressure, and the relentless weight of fame. Some embraced the change with grace, some fought back, and others simply let life sculpt them in unexpected ways. If this journey through their past and present left you curious, shocked, or even reflective, remember, in Hollywood, nothing stays the same for long. Stay tuned, because the next dive into the hidden world of celebrity transformations may surprise you even more.